Okay, so I'm just going to give you a walk around the camper trailer and show you what's what and where things are, and then I'll do another couple about how to set the car up and how to set the camper trailer up. All right, cheers. Bye. So basically this is it in its folded up state. Because it's on a slope, I've usually got the wheel chocks sort of behind the wheels. So this side, you'll see there's the extra diesel canopies. They're empty. You haven't used them and you probably won't need them for this length of trip. This is one half of the storage area. In here you'll find this tarp is one that we use over on the kitchen side of things. You put down, and there's a few odds and ends in the various things. This is the power cable. It has a 10 amp to 15 amp converter, so depending on what power you've got at the campsite, if it's a 15 amp converter, you don't need to use it. You just unplug that plug from out of there. This flips up, and you can take that plug out there. If it's a 10 amp, which is like your common household one, then you need to use this and sort of plug it in. It just stops it from overloading a 10 amp circuit. In this container on the side, and this goes all the way through, there's another door on the other side. In here is the tropical awning, and I'll show you where that goes. The tent poles and so on in there. There's a couple of pool noodles if you want to go swimming, do anything like that, and have a bit of a float. They're all there to use. This next one, this is the air conditioning unit. It sits in here. So if you want to run the air conditioning, you need to open this one, and there is also a hatch there. If you're running the air conditioning, that needs to be open. It just flips open and hangs down, okay? Back here, we have, this is where the batteries and the power sits, the power switches. So turning things on, there is you notice the red switch there. You turn that on, tells you what your voltage currently is. There's a trip switch in there, and there's 3 switches here, one for the LEDs, like that's the internal lights, one for the water pump, and one for the DC outlet, which is all your little power, USB power plugs around the place. Unfortunately, right at the moment, I turned this on the other day and some of the water pipes have perished, so you're not going to be able to use the sink on the tap on the sink, but you will still have access to water. I'll show you that later. But you just turn those on to that puts things on. Okay, and then usually when I'm traveling, not running anything, I leave it switched on. It will charge off the car as we're going along. This is where you plug in the power from a campsite. Generally the air conditioning, you need to be on power to run, otherwise it'll drain the batteries. That's also an Anderson plug outlet for hooking in a solar panel and so on, but I don't think you'll be needing to use that if you've got power at the site. You've got the rear spare wheels. So there's 2 spare wheels. That's actually a spare stub axle, but I can't see any possibility of that ever being needed, unless you're happy to. But to take the spare wheels off, if you do need to, you've got a clip there. You take the pin out, undo that clip, and this whole bit here, along here, this all folds down and gives you easy access to the spare tyres. On this side, starting at the back, we have the kitchen, which I need to unlock. Oh, and just say, on all the locks on the camper trailer, like all these door locks, they all use this key, little sort of square with rounded edges, and that just needs to be unlocked. And this is the kitchen. Now, I'm just going to see if I can pull this out. Well, that's it. So you pull that pin and lock it up, and then Oh yes, it does come out, so it comes all the way out. It has some legs down the bottom. They're supposed to stay up with that clip, but it's a pain in the ass and sometimes doesn't. I'm just going to see if I can hook that back up, but normally you would adjust those legs to where you need them. There's two adjustable screws on the side, and just do that. And I can't do it in this space, but you take that top piece out. This piece, apart from falling apart in my hands, that's not supposed to. This flips out, and so you've got extra length table there. And that piece there, you'll notice that there's some holes along there. That actually connects up. I'm hoping I've got the right angle for those to these. So you've actually got some extra space out the back. And when you've got that open, the oven, the cooking space opens up. You fold those out. I'll walk around and show you how that connects. So in here you'll see a braided line. Okay, this is for your gas connection. You take out one of those and you push this in, and it connects to push and twist. So push and twist, push and twist, and then you turn your gas on. I'll show you where that goes, and that connects your gas up to the thing, and the water does hook up, but unfortunately, as I said, this normally goes in there, but as I said, there's some perishment of these pipes up in here, and when I turned it on, water just pissed out of there. But you will be able to access water out of this tap at the back if you need. So unfortunately, sorry about that, you won't have running water at this tap for this trip, and I can't get it in to get it fixed for another couple of weeks. You also do have, up in here, you'll see there's a big plastic drain. You can pull that all the way out and put that into a bucket, or so on, or just run it somewhere it's not, and that's just the drain for the sink here. You see everything's collected a bit of dust and crap just from sitting in storage. So same to undo that, turn your gas off and sort of feed that up into this space. I'll go back around. On the kitchen here as well, you've got utensils. Don't know how many you need, but you know, all that's there to use. Some washing gear, bottle openers, gas lighters, and so on. Some rubbish bags there. That's just an excess area under there. We've got a dustpan and brush there as well. So when we go to push this back in, you just fold up. Oh, and when you're cooking, these are just some styrofoam things that help this stop rattling around when it's traveling, so make sure you take those out before you try to cook. Okay, slips in between there. Yeah, there you go. So making sure everything's done up, and seeing if we can get this. Put you down there for a second. Okay, that's being a pain in the ass. So when you go to push it in, just hold. You need to hold that up as you slide it in. Okay, just pushing it up all the way some things, and then when that's in, just put this all back in to secure it. That's all good to go. This is a little light for the kitchen when the power's on, and you turn that switch on there. Okay, and that turns on that light. Got a couple of power outlets here if you need to plug phones, lights or anything like that. This is a little storage area, tea towel, keep lamps. There's a little GPS tracker thing in there so that if a van gets stolen I know where it might be. But it's a good place to put, you know, cups and various other things as you're going travelling. Okay, this is the other end of that storage unit that I showed you. Which sits in there. So again, that bag's got the poles for the awning and so on in it. And then this is the fridge and pantry area. I'm gonna put the fridge on power up in the unit. You'll have to grab it out and bring it down here just so it's cold before you put it in. It's less drain off the battery. This operates the same way. It's got the little locking catch there that you open up. To pull it out, you press down on this lever here and pull. But you do need to be mindful. What we've got, there's a bit of a design flaw with this thing, and it bows and flexes in and around there. So what we've done, and I'll pull it out to show you the whole way. What we've done is we've just got some metal pipe that sits there, and while it's travelling, it provides some support and stop that flexing so much. Just before you put it back in, just make sure it's sort of pushed up to there, and put it in. The power for the fridge, when it comes down, is hooked in up there. Okay, so we've got power on the front and the back of the fridge, and the cable that goes in there, it sort of reaches, we plug it into the back end of the fridge here, and it goes out all the way. When you're putting it away, again, just push it in, and you do need to hold that little blue thing down, otherwise it stops halfway. And you notice that those pipes, they've been pushed back a bit, but as long as they're somewhere near the front, they'll be fine. And secure that back in. That's just a humidity thing that we've kept in, and you see it's soaked up a fair bit of water. I'll throw that away. So this unit here is where the gas bottles sit. This is also the hose for filling up the water tank. Just a dedicated one so it doesn't get mixed up and stops it going. I think that one's empty. That one should be pretty full. So you should be fine if you're cooking on the camp stove. We haven't used that much of it. If for some reason I'm probably not going to have time, I'll see if I've got time to go and do a gas swap before I go, but if not, I usually just go down to Bunnings and do the gas cylinder swap with those. Just they hook up like that. There's two hooks for that one, and we have a couple of padlocks, and that padlock key is on there. It's the little Lockwood key there to lock and unlock that. And this is the sort of tool chest. In here you'll find a lot of odds and ends. There's a fuel canister there that's for the generator, but I don't think you'll need that. I've got some sand pegs for any reason camping on sandy ground, but also in there you will find there's a heap of these type of pegs, ground pegs. They fit with an attachment, just a hex head attachment onto your drill, and they're really good. You just drill them into the ground to do your guy ropes up for the tarp and so on. A bit of WD-40 there. There's some extra odds and bits, like a power board and a light that you can use. We haven't got a lot in the way of outside lights because we don't tend to use them a lot, but there are a few other things that you can use. There will also be there's a set of steps here that we keep with us, because on some occasions, depending on the angle, things get a bit tall and it's easy for a short ass like me to have some steps to use. Okay, so that's the basic setup. When you're getting to where you're going and you're setting up, it's got 4 legs. These legs are all adjustable. You just pull out on that handle and they come down to there, and then you can adjust them or wind them with the drill. So in the car, there's a drawer at the right hand side. It's got all my tools and bits and bobs. Though I usually leave this 19mm drill on there, and this one just simply does the up and down on the those legs. So there's 2 at the front. These 2 at the back are a little bit more awkward to get to, but it's the same. You just pull that blue handle. You sometimes have to push up that leg a little bit to get them down. And when you're setting up, there is a level here on the frame that gives you your front to back and your side to side level. So sometimes you do have to take it off the car to get it level, depending on where your campsite is. And I've got, in case you need to do any tight maneuvering, you'll find this jockey wheel here, which is an electric jockey wheel, in the back of the car, usually on the back floor of the seat, sort of in the car at the back. It hooks up to an Anderson plug that comes off the camper trailer. Just when if you're using it, if you have to use it, make sure you just don't get tangled up down the bottom there. The control arm, so this comes out, and you'll find this in the back of the car. It plugs in there, and it just has a forward and back, and you just turn it in whatever direction you need to turn it. And it also, if you unpack it, so this will all be packed up when you go away, but there's power hooks in at the other end from there. So that's the other end of this cable to plug into there. It's great on hard ground. If it's on really soft ground, it can sometimes struggle, like slip a fair bit. If you find that it's slipping, get somebody to stand on the A-frame, just add some more weight onto it, because that will help it get some grip. And this jockey wheel is fairly simple, up, down, and it just flips forward when you're going. All right, so that's video 1. I'll do another video around hooking it up, and then we'll do a video. I might get Lily to help me film that to show you how to open up and set up. Okay.